Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Cafecito Chat. We have a really exciting day today. In fact, today is the 16 de septiembre. We have a lot we're celebrating. It's also our fifth Cafecito, and as many of you know, we've been celebrating our 5-year anniversary. So just lots of wonderful things today that we have to celebrate. So we're super excited. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about something that we really love, which is cafecito and coffee. We have a wonderful guest here today that's going to be sharing more all about coffee. So we're really excited that you guys are joining us here. So thank you for being here. We're also super grateful that we've made it to our 5th episode and all the friends and folks that have come out to support us to be part of our show. So we're super excited. So as we get started today, I'm actually going to bring my colleague Liliana onto the screen. Hi, Liliana.
Hey, Dr. Tara, how are you?
Doing well. Feliz 16.
Feliz Día de 16. I was going to say El Día de la Independencia. So
Yeah.
I get thank goodness it came out right.
I think that red looks marvelous on you. Looks great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So today it's all about coffee.
Yes, it is. And I'm very excited because we are all coffee drinkers in the office. We love coffee, cafecito. I love it. But before we get started, Dr. Cortez, I would love to know, I guess, as we've shared cafecito stories or whatnot here in the office when we've, had meetings or off meetings or whatnot, but I would love to know what is your favorite cafecito time, whether that's through work or through personal or whatnot, but I would love to know what's your favorite cafecito memory.
Yes, no, I think that's really great because I was thinking about when did I get into coffee? How did this all end up being something for me? And obviously we've made it into something really special for our group. But I remember being really young and my grandma, both of my grandparents, it was the cafecito en el mediodía. And one of my grandmothers, one of the things that was really special to me is that she would give me little things of coffee with leche when I was younger. And I just remembered how special that was. I know she was sitting down with her pan dulce. It was just a really special thing for me. And I think, I didn't know. One of the great things that we're going to learn today is the difference between all the different kinds of specialty coffees and the hard work that goes into folks that do this profession and work in this. But for me, it was just such a special memory. And I think that's why cafecito means so much to me. But how about you? What was your special thing? What is your memory of cafecito or coffee? Or I always see you with your coffee all the time. So
yes, let me take out my Cortez Consulting one right now. I love the cup, and thank you, Dr. Cortez. I would have to say my favorite memory, I think it has to revolve around family too. Like currently, of course, because of everything that's happening with the situation, in the mornings, because of course we got to work from home since March, but in the morning we've made it a little routine where it's my mom and my husband Memo, and we line up and take turns of who's doing it. It's kind of become like a little thing of competition. ¿Quién va a agarrar el café primero? O quién va a first? And I love that, and I just feel it's like the time you have with it, the memories you come up with it. And, my mom too, as a grandma, she will sneak coffee to my son, Dr. Cortez. And little will be like, I want coffee too. I'm like, no, you can't.
He's been bouncing off the walls all day.
So I can definitely share that. So of course, like you mentioned, coffee is definitely, I think, part of just, family and coming together. I think that's the memories that creates with it. So I'm very excited to bring our guest speaker. And I would love for you to tell us how you met him or any special story that you have of him as we introduce him to our show.
Well, I think it's so amazing because I know when we were visiting with him and getting him ready for this show, one of the things that I've been doing recently, and a lot of you guys have probably been watching the Netflix show Edit It. And, I was cleaning out my closet this weekend. I had some time. I was going through all of my photo albums and really Mike Trevino and knowing him and his wife, Nicole, who have been just great friends of mine. I was going through an album. I'm like, I've known him since the time or my early days when I got married many years back. And just had a relationship with both him and his wife, Nicole, who have been just great friends to us. And today, of course, he actually started his own business, Weathered Hands Coffee. And as I learned that he was doing this, I know this is a special time for him too. It's a special year for him. I just felt like I wanted to support him and learn more what he was doing for his business. So I thought it was the perfect timing. In fact, when I talked to Nicole, she's like, Mike does coffee. And I'm like, yes, this is the perfect thing for us to do for our 5-year anniversary, our 5th Cafecito edition. And so today, everybody, we're bringing you Mike Trevino so he can share a little bit about what he's doing with Weathered Hands Coffee. Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, thanks for being here. Of course, I shared a little story about me knowing you and getting to know you, but of course, our audience is meeting you for the first time. So one of the things we like to do with Cafecito is have you share a personal story and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my personal story is I as well got started into coffee with my abuelita. She actually would give me coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, she took care of me in the morning, and she would put a heck of a lot of sugar. But that was actually my first introduction to coffee, and I was probably like 4 years old, and loved it. And probably my parents never even know, maybe not even to this day, that maybe they know, but they may not even know to this day that my grandmother used to give me coffee. So that's kind of cool. For me, before starting the business, I was in healthcare finance for 15 years. And that in itself, along with just enjoying coffee, I've always enjoyed coffee. And the way I got into actually coffee roasting was just a desire to really kind of mitigate my coffee expense of going to Starbucks and going to coffee shops all the time. So I kind of wanted to cut down on my cost a little bit, expense for that. And so I kind of read about it on the internet, researched about it, looked very interesting. And so I started roasting coffee really on a cast iron skillet, did that, moved to a you remember the stovetop popcorn whirly pops that you would do on your stovetop and kind of turn the little crank? I did that on a propane tank in my garage, loved every minute of it. And then from there, got more interested in it, got to invest into a small little home roasting drum roaster, miniaturized drum roaster, and just loved it. Loved the time when I was roasting coffee. I've always been a fan of creating things that people enjoyed. So being able to roast coffee and have people enjoy it was always a pleasure for me. So yeah, that's kind of how I started down that path. And then as more and more I got down the rabbit hole, as most people say, I wanted to see what coffee roasting on a specialty level was like. So I got an internship on top of my full-time healthcare finance job and worked with it. Well, actually, I interned at a roasting company in San Antonio called Brown Coffee Company. Great coffee. I was there for a year as an intern, and then was there for, that turned into a part-time job, and also worked there probably 4 or 5 years. And in 2018 is when we started Weathered Hands Farmhouse Coffee. And actually this month we celebrated our 2-year anniversary. So yeah, it's been fun.
That is awesome. And Mike, I do remember being at your house every once in a while, and you had several different types of coffee, and you would talk to us about when you first started this journey. So just super excited and proud of you where you've been. And it sounds like you've talked a little bit about what inspired you the most. So what is it that I know you started your business in 2018, but was there anything specific that inspired you to start it?
Yeah, it was just the passion of just creating. And then coffee itself, I've always, like I said, I always enjoyed coffee, but watching people enjoy the coffee that you actually got to roast, and you selected the coffee from wherever around the world it was from, roasted it yourself, and then someone took that sip of coffee and really enjoyed it. That was awesome. That was just something like I really enjoyed. And then obviously my wife, who's also owns Weather Hands Farmhouse Coffee, and so without having a supportive wife, this was not even doable. Being very encouraging to chase my dream, that was a big motivating factor for sure.
It's so great to hear that, because as a lot of you guys know too, my husband Jason they're our backbones. They're the first people there to tell us we can when we're doubting. They're the ones that show up and help us at whatever we need to do. I know when I was like, "But we need volunteers," I'd be, "Yep, my husband's one of the ones that are the volunteers." So great to hear that this is also a passion that you both are doing together.
For sure.
And thank you, Mike, for sharing that. And I have to give a huge shout out to Jason for sure, because I've been there where he has helped us tremendously, pulling stuff and all that stuff. So thank you, Jason, for all your help. But going back to your company, I would like for you to share with us what is so special about Heather Hands Coffee. Like, if you had to tell one person what's so special about this company, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say just from a technical standpoint, consistently roasted, high quality, specialty grade coffee. And then we roast in a way that preserves and highlights the natural elements or nuances in coffee. Most people don't know, but coffee is actually a fruit. And so our goal is actually to ensure that people get to actually taste coffee and not the roast and not the like those burnt flavor and whatnot. It's the coffee itself. That's definitely the highlight. And then for us, one of the big pillars of our company is the fact that we want to share the story behind the coffee. We want people to understand where their coffee is from. We want you to know the coffee producer who produced that coffee, the coffee farm, where is it from, the variety of the coffee, the elevation, those sort of things. If they're important to you, we want you to know that, provide you that information so you know where your coffee's from. So we want to tell that story and share the light of what these folks do to bring that cup of coffee to you every day.
Yeah, and I just saw on the slide that was shown the different places of where you get from. And I know earlier this week what stood out to me was Familia Cifuentes, I believe was the name of the coffee, and it told me the story about the woman that does it or whatnot. And I was just so impressed by it. And I know you deeply will share the different stories behind each coffee. And I thank you for that, because I do believe there's a story to every process, or a story that everyone does, because it's hard work. So thank you very much for sharing that. And I'll pass it over to Dr. Cortez.
Yeah, and since you do, just pivoting off of what Liliana said, given that you meet people and you're bringing your coffee from all around the world, what's probably been your most memorable experience? I
would say, well, through that part-time job as one of the production roasters at Brown Coffee Company, the owner, Aaron Blanco, was a great mentor for me. Had taught me a lot of wonderful things, kind of piqued my interest into coffee and whatnot. And he, I want to say it was like in 2017 or 18, I was fortunate. He invited me to go to Origin and it was Costa Rica that year, and to see what the coffee farms itself look like, what the environment, what is the farms look like and whatnot. And so the processing. And so that was very eye-opening. And it was actually then is how I actually came up with the name Weathered Hands. For me, the name itself, watching these people who work very hard to bring coffee to us. And, Weathered Hands is about all the hands that have a role in bringing the coffee to us, from the coffee picker, the coffee producers, the importers, the coffee roaster, the barista, whoever, who have a small role in bringing this coffee to us. So it was through that experience itself that actually just pretty much solidified the name of the company itself. I think that's really inspiring. And actually, Mike, I have one of your little coffee bags here.
And
Cool.
what's really cool to me too, and for those of you that are considering Weatherhand's coffee and specialty coffee, I mean, exactly what you're saying kind of comes through in when I read this and get to see, like, I have the farmstead, so I probably have the one that has a mixture of things and these specialty coffees. But what I thought was really cool is that you guys really highlight here, like this one in the regions that it comes from: Colombia, Guatemala, Ethiopia, Burundi. Like, I think that's really cool because, as you're saying, there's always a story to where this is coming from and why you're bringing light to that.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's important too. I mean, I think in general, like I've tried to be an educated buyer of, I don't know, it's just maybe a part of my nature that I kind of want to know where things are from as best as I can to make educated guesses and whatnot, or educated purchases. So it's always been important to me. And I just figured there's maybe some other folks out there like me that want to know like where their coffee is from. And not to say like there's other people great roasters who are out there as well, who are doing the same thing. And we're just trying to, play a small role in this world of specialty coffee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. And I had to kind of research your website and get to know, the company a little bit more. But for those of our viewers that, are getting familiar with you and the company, can you please share a little bit more about your subscriptions, anything that you would like to provide to them as far as subscriptions and how they can get enrolled or what they need to take or the process to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple of different options for our subscribers. We have a 3-month subscription plan. If you want to give us 3 months to kind of taste some different coffees the coffee that we're highlighting or featuring for that particular month. Each of the subscriptions, you get a little bit of a discount versus just buying it at a one-time purchase. The annual coffee subscription, because it's a longer commitment, you get the most of the discount. But also with the annual coffee subscription, subscribers will receive coffees that are only available to themselves. Both subscriptions will offer coffees before they're out to the general public. The annual coffee subscriber, because of the large commitment and trust in us, we want to also provide them coffees that only are exclusive to them. So yeah, those are the two different options that we have for our subscribers right now.
Ooh. So many things. I'm like, okay. The next thing would be it. So now you told us about the company, you told us definitely about your locations and where you get them from, and now what types of subscription. But the big question is, where can people find your coffee? Where's we need to drive up and say, we need a Heather Hand's coffee like today. Where can we go?
Yeah, so locally in Austin, you can get us down on South Congress at Manana Coffee Shop, down on the South Congress Hotel. Stellar Coffee trailer off of South First. Stellar Coffee Company in San Marcos, Texas. Bougie's Donuts and Coffee in Austin off of Brody Lane. And then out in Dripping, if you're out in this area, you can go to Lemieux's Coffee Bar off of Ranch Road 12 in the neighborhood there. And then, of course, of the website. And then there's a couple of other spots. But, yeah, those are the main spots right now.
Great. And if you're a viewer watching, please know we did add the full list to our comment chat. So feel free to click on that if you would like to learn more about the locations and where to go.
This is great. And Mike, you have them in lots of different places around general greater Austin. So that's really cool. So for me as a business owner and as you as a business owner and kind of going through this process, one thing I wanted to ask you that we normally do is with Cafecito is, what did you learn about yourself through this journey? Is there something special that you can look back now and somebody who may start this process or someone who's thinking about starting a business, what was something that you learned about yourself through this journey?
Yeah, I think every probably entrepreneur struggles with this, but I think the biggest thing I learned about myself was that you realize that you can't do everything. And you also just have to take your time, pace yourself, because you can't do everything. There's not enough hours in the day. And so that's probably, I would say that's the biggest lesson that I've learned is plan accordingly, plan as best you can, and do things as prioritize your different to-do lists and priorities. And so that's probably the biggest thing that I've probably learned on this journey.
One of the things that resonated with me as well is that, earlier this week when we were doing promotion for this show, we had some quotes by you, and one of them was your passion into reality. And it resonated with me because I tell a lot of folks when I started my business, there was not a day that I didn't get up, and there's still not a day that I don't get up that I'm just excited about what I'm doing. I feel like it's a spiritual thing. I feel like I'm in the right place I'm supposed to be. I'm doing the right work. And it's not that when you're doing other work or jobs, you don't sense that, but I guess there's this kind of like monotony if you get into this routine of things. And with my business, I feel like there's something new every day. And so I really would love for you to share just kind of like, what is it about turning your passion to reality? Is it something that you feel as well? It's been resonating with you, and just sharing with other people who may be thinking about starting it, what it all means.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Every single day, I enjoy like roasting coffee and doing coffee and providing coffee to people and just sharing the story of these folks who have worked hard to bring the coffee to us. And it's just something that I want to do that's different, and I want to highlight the coffee itself that's from all around the world. And so I would say the biggest thing is just it makes it all easier when you're very passionate about something, and it really, the hours will go by and whatnot, and it just never seems like work because I'm thoroughly enjoying producing coffee and roasting coffee that we can have to share with other folks and customers and whatnot. So yeah.
And then the one thing is, when it's usually 5 o'clock and I'm still working on things or doing things on the weekend, it doesn't mean the same thing as when you're in other things. I mean, because you love what you're doing. And sometimes Jason will come over. He's like, "Hey, it's 5 o'clock. What are we doing for dinner next?" I'm like, "I got to get this out. I got to work on this." And so it really is true what you're saying. And it resonates with me so much about like when you're passionate about what you're doing and you're in the right calling and place, it doesn't feel like work. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Mike, we're going to end with two things. The first one I do want to highlight, and this is actually kind of like a tribute to Miss Ophelia, Dr. Cortez' mom, because every single time we had cafecito chats in the office, she would always provide us with some like wise words or like something for us to carry with as our day continued. So I would definitely like for us to ask you, is there any wise words you would like to share with anyone as we conclude this broadcast? Anything that just kind of stood out to you during the interview that you would just like either touch again?
Yeah, I think it would just be just extending what Dr. Cortez was just saying was, want someone a lot wiser than me, or had either said to me or I've read somewhere that once you find a job that you're passionate about, you won't work a single day in your life. So that's the dream. That's what I'm chasing. And it's so far so good, but it's a process, and love every single minute of it.
Well, we're glad that you've been here for a big celebration. I mentioned early on, so your milestone is this is your second year, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we couldn't think of a better way than sharing our 5th Cafecito edition with you. It was a big number for us this year. So I'm really proud of you to come back and see you in 5 years and see everything that you've accomplished and where you've been. At this time, I'd love to see how people can get connected with you, Mike. So I think we have a slide here. You just want to share maybe some of the ways that they can get connected with you.
Yeah, so folks, obviously, social media, Facebook and Instagram are probably the easiest way just to kind of connect. As far as like a lot of specific coffees, the website would be the best way to kind of read the stories behind the coffee, lot more than what's on the labels themselves, a little bit more deeper story. The website would be the way. And then, yeah, feel free to DM or, hit me up or whatnot if people have questions about coffee or just want to say anything. So yeah, I'd love to talk to people about coffee. So
Yeah, and if you have any comments for him, let us know. We put some things on the comment list here for Facebook, all the places you can find him. We're definitely grateful that you have been on the show with us, Mike. Any last minute things you'd like to share? We're looking at our comment section to see if anybody's commented today. And if they don't, we'll definitely have this episode up for people to watch later. So that'll be great. We'll be posting that soon. But I think this is it for our show, unless there's any last minute things you'd like to share.
No, thank you guys again for having me. It's been an honor and a pleasure. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Take care. Bye.
So we're excited, very, very much so. Like Dr. Cortez mentioned, this is our 5-year anniversary, 5th episode. And as you know, our guest, Mike Trevino, is also celebrating his 2nd year. So with that being said, we're always looking for anyone that's interested to come on board and be part of our Cafecito chats. If this is a partner or another small business that wants to share their stories or resources for the community, feel free to come on board, and you can fill out this Cafecito chat form. We will also be adding this into the comment box, so feel free to just really type your information, and one of us will get a hold of you and get you coordinated so you can come on board with our Cafecito chats.
And we'll also be having Cafecito Connection come out really soon. So we do this every so often. We put out our newsletter. And so if you'd like to get our newsletter on a pretty normal basis, and we have a subscription. So we'll also be sharing this subscription for you guys to get subscribed to Cafecito Connection, which is also just learning a little bit more about what we're doing. So I guess ways you guys know how to get in touch with us. We've expanded. We're now on YouTube. We're really excited. We will be posting some stuff on social media next week. You can see us if you, for some reason, you right now are probably watching it on hopefully different mediums, but if you don't have Facebook, you obviously can now watch us on YouTube. But you know how to get a hold of us on our website. Follow us at Facebook, Insta, or Twitter. Those are ways that you can get a hold of us. And then, special drum roll, we will have our next Cafecito on September 30th. And we're not going to tell you what the topic is this time. It's going to be a big surprise. So we hope you will tune in for the big surprise on September 30th. Again, we want to thank everyone who tunes in every 2 weeks for Cafecito Chats. We try to bring you some things that we're passionate about, people we love working with, folks that are inspiring and passionate about the things that we're doing, just so we can spend a little bit of time with you during Cafecito. So thanks again, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.